Okay, welcome everyone. It is 12 o'clock, so we'll call out the matches, get the matches underway. So without further ado, on table number 1, Jack Whelan versus Matt Barcock. Jack Whelan versus Matt Barcock, table 1, which is the stream table. On table number 2, Dean Wilson versus Jasper Simmons. Dean Wilson versus Jasper Simmons on table number 2. On table number 3, Freddie Ellison, Tom Jones. Freddie Ellison, Tom Jones on 3. On table number 4, Jake Dillon-Newland, Steve Oxley. Jake Newland, Steve Oxley, table 4. Table 5, Don Cooney, Sam Dodd. Don Cooney, Sam Dodd, table number 5. On table number 6, Carl Morris, Lee Washbrook. Carl Morris, Lee Washbrook on table number 6. On table number 7, Callum Singleton, Joe Syson. Callum Singleton, Joe Syson on table number 7. On table number 8, Lee Howitt, Christy Caulfield. Lee Howitt, Christy Caulfield, table 8. On table 9, Eddie Barker, Spencer Jones. Eddie Barker, Spencer Jones on table number 9. On table number 10, Alan Hill, Scott Price. Alan Hill, Scott Price on table number 10. On table 11, John Herridge, Jason Ellis. John Herridge, Jason Ellis on table number 11. On table number 12, Greg Dixon, Mike Larkins. Greg Dixon, Mike Larkins on table number 12. On table 13, Craig Lakin, Elliot Coombe. Craig Lakin, Elliot Coombe on table 13. On table 14, Kev Sutton, Scott Yardley. Kev Sutton, Scott Yardley on table 14. In the second room, which is just down the corridor, away from reception if you want to know. On table 15, John Chapman, Jack Helliwell. John Chapman, Jack Helliwell on table 15. On table 18, Lawrence Thomason, Carl Sutton. Lawrence Thomason, Carl Sutton on table 18. On table 19, Glenn Cahir, Gary Southern. Glenn Cahir, Gary Southern on table 19. And finally, for the first session, on table number 20, Alex Bailey versus Dave Bottomley. Alex Bailey versus Dave Bottomley on table number 20. Start when you can. If your opponent isn't with you in the next minute or so, please let the top table know. Apart from that, best of luck.
Good morning everybody and welcome to event 3 of the World Rules Pool Tour. We kick things off with this first round match with Jack Whelan against Matt Barcock. Matt Barcock won the lag, he broke off and he's gone dry, giving Jack first go at the table. So for those who are following the series will know that Jack Whelan is unbeaten in probably his last, 16 matches or something along those kind of numbers, because you will know that when we played the Festival of Pool down in London just around about a month ago, Jack Whelan won both of those events. He won the main event and he won the Open, battling through a field of 256 players. So that was quite some achievement. So our expectations are quite high of Jack Whelan this weekend, and can he refine some of that form, which was absolutely incredible throughout that weekend. He was pretty much unplayable. His opponent over in the corner there is Matt Barcock. He comes from the Northampton area, I believe. I think he's one of the playing partners, practice partners of Callum Singleton. A very good stick. A tough opening game for him, but I'm sure he'll feel he's up to the task. Obviously not started the way he would have liked, getting that dry break, giving Jack first go at the table. So Jack looking like he's going to carry on from where he left off in London. Getting off to winning ways in this first frame. A little bit of traffic through the middle of the table, but a clearance that you fancy him to make from here. Just looking at where he wants to leave the cue ball for that yellow, which is essentially on the blue spot. Just overhit it slightly from where his cue was placed a second ago. I think he's still okay. He's just going to glance the red next to the yellow, but he'll be able to control this. And should just be able to drop this yellow in and find the gap between the two reds for the black. He's decided to come into the other gap and play the black into the right centre. One of those occasions where I think it's just personal preference. That was a fine clearance from Jack, and indeed he does win that first frame. These, of course, are races to 7. We're playing world rules. Not that we ever see much of the rules come into play on this main arena table. Very, very rare we get into any kind of tactical battle. Very often seeing this high standard of pool, as we just saw in that frame. A break from Matt, reverse dish from Jack, and Jack gets frame number 2 underway. Again with some success. Traffic on the left quadrant of the table closest to us. The reds and yellows on top of each other. He's going to have to go yellows, but the yellow that's going to cause him a problem is the one just slightly up on that left side rail, just above the left corner pocket, the second one up. There's some traffic around it, so it's going to be awkward to land on. And controlled that one nicely, just to leave himself the plant. Again, it's just another one that he needs to take some care over. He won't be guaranteed to be on any other ball apart from the one he's playing, so he has to play it at just the right weight to make sure that he leaves the yellow that he was making contact with. Judges it to perfection, and again this one very quickly I think is going to go the way of Jack, the same way of the first frame. I guess the only ball that needs any care is the black, and I think it actually does pass to the bottom left, so it should be a formality from here. Slightly hampered queuing over that triangle of reds. Again, just adds a little element of difficulty to the shot. But navigates it well, and he can just pinch his cue ball. To leave a simple black. And Jack starts things off exactly the way he left event 2. And he looks in fine fettle. So here we are. We've travelled up to Blackpool. We're in the Grand Hotel, and well, a glittering lineup of players, it must be said. It really is a strong field that comes out to this event. Just to run you through some of the favourites. In fact, what I'll do, I'll just run through the favourites in the betting. So there is a bookmaker. It is Elite Bet. He's actually here with a resplendent board A proper bookies board, all lit up in neons. It looks fantastic. But they also have a website, which is Elite Bet, and you can get hold of them through there and through Facebook. And if you care to place a bet, so Declan Brennan's the favourite of the field. No real surprise there at 5-1, and no real surprise to see Jack Whelan up there as well at 6-1, having won those previous two events. Tom Cousins always there and thereabouts amongst the favourites, 8-1. Neil Rayburn 9-1. Now Shane Thompson normally at 18 to 20-1 shot in this field. He's after last week's incredible performance, his odds have been slashed. He's a 10-1 shot. Chris Melling, I see people must be pumping him because right before my eyes I've just seen his odds slashed from 12-1 to 10-1. Indeed, Shane Thompson's come into 9-1. Gareth Hibbert's here this weekend, 12-1. Adam Davis at 14s. Jake McCartney, the Australian, he's across at 14s. Sean Chipperfield, 16s. Greg Batten, Carl Sutton, Aaron Davis. Craig Lakin, current world champion John McAllister, 20-1. There's a bit of value. Stevie Dempsey, Luke Gilbert, Sean Story. I was having a practice with Sean Story this morning. Well, when I say it's a practice, we played about 8 frames, and I think I played 4 shots, and they were all dry breaks, and that was all she wrote. Sean is on some amazing form at the moment. Carl Morris, Alphan Dad, Josh Kane, Callum Singleton, Jake Dillon, Newlove, Dylan Leary, Lee Kendall, Rob Warren, Ben Flack, Chris Day off of the back of the success down in Stoke-on-Trent last weekend. Adam Basu, who's always there and thereabouts in these fields recently, he is a 66-1 shot. And another man who's on some amazing form at the moment, a real hot streak, and there in the latter stages all the time is Matt Brierley. I think he made the quarter final, maybe even I think he made the quarter final at the London event. He's a 50-1 shot, so there's some real value there, and as I say, some a great lineup of players. You can also get some match betting through that app as well, so obviously always do bet responsibly and keep it fun, keep it within your limits, and hopefully it adds a little bit to the event for you, and hopefully you can pick a winner. Anyway, back to the game, and Matt just fallen into a little trouble here. In fact, I think he's snookered. Total snooker on both yellows. Just got an unwanted flick on the way past, which has left him high and dry. Good afternoon to everybody watching us. We're streaming on YouTube and across Facebook, so we're on both platforms. If you have any issues with one, then do go across to the other. I mean, I recommend YouTube. Always seems like a pretty solid platform. But if you are watching us on Facebook, please do remember to like and share the stream. You'll be doing us a great service, helping us get this stream out. Oh, what a great shot that is. That's fantastic. So I was just looking at the wittering away about YouTube, and I look back at the table, and Matt, from being in a total snooker on both balls, has managed to find a way out. That really was a fantastic finish. You know, played a great shot to get on the black. Always one of the longest journeys for us. Beer Productions obviously based down there in Tiverton, so they have a long trip up the M5 and M6. Myself from Somerset, so equally as far. We came up yesterday, well, I came up yesterday, chauffeured Mr. Shane Thompson up. I can't believe Shane Thompson. I had to not only bring Shane and his queue up, he's carrying his trophies around from last week as well. He's so happy that he won 2 trophies last week that he said, I said, "You're not putting them in the back of the car, mate." He said, "Yeah, I am." He said, "Yeah, I got to take them everywhere now, just so everyone can see them." It's the first trophies he's ever won, you see. So it's all right. I've got to get the jibes in now because he's going to be commentating with me on the next event. So or on the next match, should I say? By the way, the next match. If you've got some plans this morning, then you need to cancel them because the next game up is Harjeet Singh versus Gareth Hibbert. Jack's just run out of position here. Finds himself in trouble. Don't think he's got any shot. The yellow that you can see doesn't pass to top left. It's too far past the middle to be able to cut it. So what's he spotted here? Some kind of safety. Trying to send the red around and tie it up. Not left an obvious opener for Matt, but he can wrestle some control in this game. Of course, playing world rules, so covering a pocket is much more effective in this set of rules. So he could maybe try and play the plant on the two reds towards top left, push one over the pocket, wrest some control in the game. Yeah, that's no good. A little bit twixt in between from where he was trying to land. I think he was trying to get a bit straighter on the one to left centre just to try and come down and dislodge the black. He needs to find a route to be able to get that black out. Or maybe he can just nick this in. He's playing with it. You can see extreme right hand side. And didn't want to kiss the red on the way past. And having done so, changed the path of the cue ball, and he's not got the black out. And now suddenly this is much more of a problem. He's only got one ball that he can use to move that black, and that's the one nearest the bolt line. Can't play it off this next shot, I don't believe, because I think the red's in the path. Unless he can screw underneath that red. Well, maybe he can. He's trusting the luck here though. You could get through. How's your luck? Of sorts. He's left himself a shot, but these are pretty horrible. Looks like a half ball cut on the screen, but it's a lot thinner than that. Playing across the table, fairly natural to come back across table in off. So probably needs to play it with a touch aside, and that's what happens when you play it with a touch aside. You can throw the cue ball. I don't know why. Even at, as I say, it was one of those that kind of on the screen it looks fairly simple, but they're really horrible shots. And even a player of Jack's quality, I just didn't fancy him for that one. As I say, the natural angles seem to be taking him in. Oh no, that's a disaster for Matt. Had to take advantage there. Yeah, I was going to say, I think Jack had to play it with side to avoid the in-off, and that makes the shot infinitely more difficult. I think the obvious pocket is covered, so I think he's going to have to send the cue ball around. Yeah, he's looking now. He wants to play the black to right centre, but there's traffic in the way. There's one that could go wrong, and I think he's looking at one of those that you just have to take your medicine and just get on it. Just leave yourself a more difficult black than trying to leave it simple. The pot's a gimme. Well, I say that. It tried to stay out, and he hit it all wrong. And as a result, so he was trying to get that cue ball across the table another 18 inches for the black in the bottom left. But because he hit the one at the table wrong, he was playing with a lot of side again, and it kind of threw the ball. The problem is with those shots over that distance, when you're playing with side, obviously you have to judge, because the cue ball's going to bend, so you have to judge that. And they're easy to misjudge. So double coming up. Oh, he's played it thin. Disaster, he's gone in off. So I thought for a second he was going to play the double, but of course the thin cut to bottom left, very difficult. And Matt with 2 visits, you expect him to level the game up here. So 20 tables at the event, and 20 tables. Oh, well, you could see him. He just, I think he just had a shot, kind of not threw his arms up, but he knew that one had gone slightly awry. The cue ball nearly following through into the pocket. But I think he just felt that it just rolled off slightly on the finger marks. You could just see him flattening down the nap of the cloth. These superfine cloths have got a real nap on them, and very easy to lift the nap with your fingers as you lay your hand on the table. Crisis averted. He always had the second visit anyway as his safety net, and he levels things up at 2 each, and it's going to be his break in the next. And again, you see him just flattening down the finger marks there where he felt the ball just rolled in slightly. Table was beautifully level earlier. Zach Leonard is here as the table technician. Always does a great job. Does a great job of snoring as well. I shared a room with him last night. He was like a tractor starting up. It's like having a JCB ringing in your ear for the whole evening. So as I was saying, 20 tables in action. Let's have a quick run through to see who's scoring what. Jasper Simmons 2-1 up against Dean Wilson. Bradley Ellison 2-1 up against Tom Jones. Jake Delanula 3-1 against Steve Oxley. Dom Cooney 4-0 against Sam Dodd. Carl Morrisley, Washbrook tied at 1 each. Joe Sison 2-0 up against Callum Singleton. Scott Price 2-1 against Alan Hill. John Herridge 3-0 up against Jason Ellis. Craig Lakin playing Elliot Coombe, he's 2-1 ahead. Carl Sutton 3-0 against Lawrence Thomas. Lawrence Thomason Lawrence from the Stoke-on-Trent area. I just saw him before the game. I think he's taken Jimmy Croxton's place. So Matt with a fairly decent chance here. Again, just falling out of position as he did in the previous frame. Just tried to move one of the reds and took a double kiss. I think it's probably come out far enough to be able to pop into the left corner. If it has, he's okay. You can take this red to bottom corner and screw back to land on it, and then take the two at the top of the table. Well, maybe it doesn't pass, so he's gone for the one nearest the cushion first. But again, needs a bit of attention. I don't think the red passes into the... Oh, you can see it doesn't pass into the right. So it's just got a nasty little angle as well. It's one of those, it looks like it's fairly natural to be coming back towards the red, so you can see him loading up left hand side to just played it well, just to push the red across to leave it potable. Thin cut, but nothing to do with the cue ball. It's going to take a natural path down the table. Yeah, nice. Took these well. Cole Bedford, the best player I've ever shared a room with. I've not shared them with many, mate. But, I suppose you'd have to probably say Craig Marsh, also the loudest player that I've ever had to share a room with. I said Zach Leonard snored. Well, if Zach was a JCB, then Marshy was a Spitfire. Some noise that man can produce. I think he'd keep a whole hotel floor awake. So yeah, there's the obvious ball, and that's just because of the red tied up on the top cushion. Also the red on the left side rail causes an issue. Left side cushion, should I say. Sorry, I've been watching too much American pool, the US Open last week. I'm calling them rails. Slightly shorter pace, but won't be an issue. I'll have to go to plan B. I actually think this probably was the order that Jack was going to take them in, so I can hold the cue ball. Again, in the ideal world, would have probably liked to have been just the other side of the yellow. Just a bit of screw straight back, but again, won't cause a problem. Well, he's landed on the 50-yard line, as they call it. Right in the middle. It's no more than a half ball, third of the ball cut, so can screw the cue ball to hold it. Never going to be a problem. And he refines his 2-frame lead at 4 frames to 2. It's a race to 7, so of course Matt is going to need to find something in this frame. Can't afford to let Jack get 3 ahead. Oh, there's no one better for a spoon than Marshy, is there? Sorry, Reg, no, this isn't double elimination. There are actually 2 events over the weekend, though. You have the main event and the open event. I think there's 156 players here this weekend, so it's a pretty big field. And as I say, there are 2 events. Well, there's more than, I mean, two kind of, as I say, main events, as in the main and the open, but there is, of course, the ladies' event. And I don't know if they've got a seniors event, quite possibly. They have one at London. I'm not sure whether they have one over this weekend. So yeah, pretty brutal format really. It's races to 7. So if you don't hit the ground running, I mean, as I say, I had a little practice with Sean Story this morning, and yeah, it would have been a 7-0 whitewash because 4 dry breaks and he didn't miss a ball. He's some player, he is, isn't he? I mean, it wasn't really a practice. I was just racking the balls for him. Some player. Yeah, it's an independent tour. It's the World Rules Pool Tour, organised by Neil Toms. I guess it's the kind of the forerunner of this would have been the EPA UK Tour. So it's kind of come from the ashes of all of that nonsense, which I'm not even going to get into. Frankly, because I don't get involved in the politics. I have no idea what went on and just enjoy watching pool. So yeah, it's I have to say this is the 3rd event. We've been to Blackpool, London, and obviously Blackpool again now, and then we're going to Daventry in a few weeks' time, and it's a fantastic event. Neil Toms, an absolute credit, one of the best organisers around. He's got some trouble now. Goes trying to get across to the left-hand side of that red to leave it in the right corner, and no, he's absolutely nowhere now. In fact, with all the traffic of the yellows on the table, I don't really see a route of how he can get onto that red. He's judging a little bit, leaving a little bit to luck on this one, I think, as he landed on it. Wow. What a shot. What a brilliant positional shot. How well's he judged that? I thought the traffic was just in the way of that, but there was just a natural angle to come around. Slightly hampered, but he'll be over the moon that he's got a shot. Oh dear. Again, it was always going to be a tough finish. I mentioned 20 tables in action. Dom Cooney's the first player across the line, he with a whitewash over Sam Dodd. John Chapman 7-1 against Jack Hallowell. He's also through. Phil Harrison was supposed to play Matt Champ in this first round. Sadly, I believe that Phil has fallen foul of COVID, so we wish him the absolute best and Hope he has a speedy recovery. I missed a weekend of pool last weekend because I was in the same situation. So hopefully he has a speedy recovery, as I say. Alex Bailey 4-0 against Dave Bottomley. Glenn Cahir 4-0 against Gary Southern. Carl Sutton is 4-3 up against Lawrence Thomason. As I mentioned earlier, if you're just joining us and you didn't hear, the next game up on stream, which is due on at 1:30, is Gareth Hibbert against Harjeet Singh. So that's an absolute blockbuster. Also, Sean Story opens his account. He's going to play. He's got a tough match against Hitan Patel. Some good games in that round, actually. Stevie Dempsey's got Steve Singh. So a tidy finish there from Matt. Mentioned at the outset that it was one that he needed to win, and he has. So he keeps himself snapping at Jack's coattails. There you can see the scores from around those 20 tables that are in action currently. You can see one or two have finished. They'll be resetting them for the next session. And there you can see that kind of, you had a brief glimpse of the room as Jack finds the middle pocket with the cue ball. Well, he won't mind too much. The table looks pretty ordinary. So he's going to have to try and attack this cluster of balls straight away. So he's going to play the one in bulk and send the cue ball through the gap down that left side of the table to try and break out the two difficult yellows and the black. He's going to have to hit this with some pace. Yeah, and that was always going to be the danger. I was just about to say the knuckle of the middle bag just looms large on that shot. And in some ways a little unforgivable because he had cue ball in hand, so it's maybe a little harsh, but you have to be finding the target there. Can he play the yellow nearest to us in the middle of the table off of that pack of yellows? Try and break it up from below. He's tried to attack it off of another yellow. And it's not come out. Fortunately for him, it's not come out for Jack either. Still got a red stuck in the mix. The black's awkward. So there's still some mileage left in this match, you feel. Or in this frame, should I say. Well, use the whole of the pocket on that one. Can't take liberties here, Jack, at 4-3 up. This is a big frame. He's definitely trying to pot that ball. There's no real advantage in covering that right hand pocket. He needs to get something in the mix over the left hand pocket because that currently belongs to Matt. And that left hand corner pocket is going to be the key to this frame. So whoever takes control of that pocket is going to have a distinct advantage. As I say, this one could go a little tactical. I don't think that, yeah, Jack definitely not trying to take it that way. I remember him saying that he was pretty much avoiding tactical play at all costs in the last event, just because it's been such a long time since he played World Rules that he doesn't feel that he's got a tactical advantage. So he's going to take the aggressive option each time. Quite sure what was in his mind there. This black is a real problem. Well, unless, does the black go? Well, I have to assume that the black goes. Does it go to bottom right? Can he get to the potting angle? I don't think he can now because he's left too much angle. So I think he's going to have to try and play into it. If he was straighter, he could have just maybe held. I think he's just going to have to go across and cannon it. Yeah. Forgot the pot. Focused on the cannon. And I guess if you ever want to aim any criticism at these rules, it's Jack's missed the ball and gained an advantage from it. He's covered the pocket and he still takes absolute control of the frame. Whereas in another rule set, that maybe not quite so to his advantage. That's where I feel these rules are a little harsh sometimes on the incoming player. That, you know, you can play what is essentially a poor shot. He's missed the red, but still keeps full advantage in the frame. And Jack electing to play a deliberate foul, pushing one of Matt's yellows down over this left pocket. Giving him two shots, but I mean, you've only got to look at the table to know how much trouble he's in. Matt probably needs to manoeuvre this, so he plays the black into the yellows, pots the red over the pocket and leaves the black tied up, but of course that's always a danger, and I think Jack has foreseen that shot, so again played the deliberate foul just to get the black out in the open, so it takes away that option from Matt. You can get one of them out here, but in doing so he's pushed another one across that red. Well, he's got 3 out now. I mean, clearly if he just develops the one on the side cushion now, then he's going to get himself another 2 visits and then maybe try and develop the last 2 yellows. Yeah, I think that's a shot. Oh, yeah. Oh, it dropped. Well, what was the... Sorry, I see what he was trying to do. I see what he was trying to do. He wanted to pot it and then push the black down, basically playing the shot that I mentioned. I mean, what is it, 3 seconds? Do you get 3 seconds or 5 seconds? I'm not sure what it is. I know there's a certain amount of time. I got a feeling it's 3 seconds. So obviously the 3 seconds were over by the time that dropped. But, yeah. Well, that's not what he planned either. So now Matt can play that shot that we mentioned. So now he's looking at it again. So what we're looking at here is pot the yellow, get across above the bulk line, and then play the black down into the yellow and black. So the black stays tied up. He needs that to roll. And he's left this really thin now. So he's going to push the black on top of the 2 yellows. He's got the option to try and move them out, but I don't think that's what is in his mind. He's going to play the black down over and then leave the black in behind the 2 yellows. So Jack basically has a shot to get it out and a shot to play it. But I think, I'm not convinced now. Now he's got 2 visits. I'm not convinced that's the right shot. Why not play... Why not just set up the yellow over the side pocket, get another 2 visits, and then get yourself a better position to actually get those 2 yellows out? Again, he seems to be trying to push the black down over, but with 2 visits, surely they come out now, don't they? I mean, you can play the first yellow into the rail to get the second one out. There's no danger of the red going in. I think they both come out. I'm just not sure he's actually looking at that. I think he's more... Yeah, he seemed to be obsessing with getting that black down over. But the thing is, with, I mean, some of the player quality of Jack, then even if you push that black down over the yellows and you leave it awkward, he's got 2 visits to move it out and pot it, which you fully expect him to do. So I think the shot has to be... Yeah, so Jack trying to get another one down there now. So I mean, this has to be the shot. If he plays, no, he's not doing it again. For me, if you play the yellow to the right, you're going to hit the other yellow half ball and get it out. The one that you've contacted has to come out as well. Okay, you're hoping a little bit to it. So surely, what's he going to do? Just set this yellow up? Or is he still... I think he's still trying to get on that black to play it down over, and I really don't think that's a shot. And now you see he's forced to try and get them out, and now the cue ball's in a horrible place. If he'd done it when he was on the left-hand side of the table earlier, it was much easier than trying to do it now. Now, the cue ball, Jack's played a great shot there because the cue ball's in a horrible place to try and get this out. I mean, coming in from this angle, you're almost certain to get a double kiss, and the chances are the red's going to go in. But if you play that shot from the left-hand side, you can't fail to get them both out. I mean, it's almost, he has to play that shot, almost has to play it cushion first now. Oh, Neil Tom's telling me when the ball stops. So when the cue ball stops, is it? So it has to have dropped. Is that right? Yeah. I mean, he got him out, but cue ball off the table. So that goes back to when that ball dropped in the pocket. Wow. I'm not sure he can believe what he's done. Wow. I think he'll probably still be okay because he's still got two. Yeah. Played that really well. Well, that was a big frame. And I honestly, I think Matt just missed a trick there. I don't know Matt well, and I don't know what his background is, so I don't know if it's a world rules background or a black ball, or I don't know what kind of rule set he comes from, but I think he just missed a trick. I really do. Maybe he just saw something entirely differently, but he seemed to be fixated on getting the black down over the two yellows, potting the red over the pocket and leaving the black in trouble, but Jack's then got two shots to get it out and pot it, and you just fancy him to do it like 9 times out of 10. Whereas if he'd gone about it the other way and tried to get them out, I think he was favourite. I really do. Reece saying that Matty is a World Rules player, so he's obviously au fait with the rules. So who knows? I don't know. People see things differently, don't they? And it's easy for me to say from here. Maybe just something entirely different he had in his mind. awkward layout here. Yellows just on top of each other. I think, does he play the plant yellow onto yellow into the middle, and the yellow that he's contacting is going to hit the side rail and get the other yellow out? Oh, he used the cue ball just to nudge it away, and that's a great shot. Just opened up the frame. Left a long awkward one, but it's just off straight, and you absolutely fancy him to get this. And it just shows the importance of that last frame, that tactical frame, that if Matt could have found a way to win that and get back to 4-all, because here we are, Jack back at the table after this dry break, and suddenly it looks like it could be going to 6-3. I think he's trying to get further across the table, and he wants to take the yellow nearest us, the stray one. He would have wanted to get that one out of the way next. And now has the wrong angle to even land on the yellow at the bottom of the table. He's going to have to pull some out of the bag here. I don't know. The red's in the way of the obvious path in and out of bulk. It's whether he can play this with loads of right hand side and just get the cue ball down the table just far enough to find the potting angle. It's difficult to see from here how far down the table he needs to be. Let's have a look from the overhead if we can, just to... Oh, there you can see it. I don't... It feels like he needs to be on the line of the where the two reds are, kind of across the black spot, but maybe he can get to it from higher up the table. I think he's going to have to come around, and that's what he tries to do, but no, that's no good. And that was always going to be the problem. The traffic was stopping him from... One of the reds was in the way of one of the angles. The black was in the way of coming off of two cushions, or three cushions, should I say. He's tried to play it off the red. And a chance for Matt, a decent chance. I won't say a decent chance to clear up from here, but a decent chance to get back in the frame and take some advantage. He needs to find a way to split up these three reds in the middle of the table. I just wonder whether the two top ones plant. I don't think they do. I think it's set to below the left middle. Again, if we can look at the overhead, we'll just be able to see. No. So he's just going to break them open and lay the trap. It's pretty good. He's thought about that one. Left the red that was moving in the path of the one cushion escape. So Jack going to have to go up table. Hard to judge. Needs to catch it half ball to have any chance of potting it. And that is a foul. And he draws the foul. And the two visits. I think this is probably one of those occasions where you're probably better off almost using your first visit as you would in black ball, just to develop a couple of balls and then go for the clearance. Of course, you don't have the luxury of ball in hand, so yeah, he's one of the reds went to right middle, so these should be fairly simple from here. It's just about the cue ball. Yeah, he's taking these well. Pulls it back within 1 frame, and there we are at 5 frames to 4. Jack's still with the advantage and that break of serve. He's going to be breaking in the next one, but Matt applying the pressure when he needs to. Wow. Definitely didn't expect that. A miscue. And brings Matt to the table. Has to be said, it's a fairly ordinary table. I think it's one of those that I would definitely be looking to take an advantage, cover a pocket. Very difficult to see how you can attack from here. And indeed, that covers that left-hand corner pocket. I think that's the right shot. Now yellows with both of the bottom pockets and a big advantage. He's just landed slightly high of where he wanted to be. If he was a little bit lower, he could have just played this yellow and landed on the red on the bottom rail for the other yellow along. Yeah, that's okay. That's good. Big favourite for the frame now. Just a tentative look at it. Plenty of room there. He's fine. I'll just screw it back a couple of inches. Leave the black in the right centre. And this one is going to be back on serve. 5 apiece. Matt breaking in frame 11. And now just a race to 2 frames. And you'd have to say, with Matt having the break in the next, if he can find a ball off the break, could be going favourite for this one, you know. And he all but looked down and out at 5 frames to, was it 5-3 behind? Showing his class. Showing that he's not just going to roll over and let Jack take this one. Battling for every frame. Great to see. Finds a ball, but cue ball fires off into the top corner pocket. That was huge. I think the yellows look pretty good, don't they? He's got ball in hand, so he can get right in amongst his work straight away. Play this long yellow to bottom left, screw back an inch, or just basically hold the cue ball where it is, and you feel this one's fairly plain sailing. Should just be a series of little stun and screw shots. What a big moment that was in the match for Matt, with that cue ball going in off. Played really well to fight back into this game and get it back on level. He would have been bitterly disappointed to see that cue ball find gravity. Jack back in the lead. 6 frames to 5. He's breaking this next frame. Just needing one more. You can see the last few games on screen. And Jack makes a ball. Reds look okay. Just obviously the one problem with the 3 yellows guarding the one nearest the left-hand side cushion. I think this is pretty much how he opened up his account in the first frame, just with a similar kind of affair, similar developing shot. That was not quite come out. So, one problem still to unlock, this cluster towards the bottom left. Clever. Takes advantage of the key pocket, puts another yellow safe. Reds with a big advantage in the frame now, so Matt needs to find something. They've got control of 3 of the pockets. Good shot. Very nice. Thought maybe Jack may try and double the red on the right hand side back across, but can understand why he wouldn't. He needs to. That's a goalkeeper for him at the moment until he sorts out the problem of the triangle of reds near the bulk line. Yeah, nice. I'm not quite sure if he's taken the whole bag, but certainly done enough. I think Jack will just... He played the DF. So looking to develop another one of the awkward yellows. He's played a double and got it. Now, is this half a chance? Can he double the yellow left of those two? And in doing so, maybe nudge the other one up table? Is he going to go aggressive? He has the 2 visits, so he could. I think it's probably time to pull the trigger. We'll soon tell whether he goes for the double or whether he goes for the treble. If he goes for the treble, he's just trying to get another ball over this bottom left pocket. But I think he can go for the double here. He did. Needs to find another one. Now, just needs to be careful of the double kiss. As much as he'd like to pot this, doesn't need to. He can just set this up. Oh, he's got it. This works, I think. I think he can play this one over the pocket with... Well, you can see it. He can either play it with loads of left-hand side to come back down the left-hand side of the table, but actually, yeah, that's what he did. Nice. Good clearance. Unless I'm much mistaken, still carrying that second visit if he needed it. But he doesn't. Brilliant. So, played 3 doubles in this clearance. That was a monster. Absolute monster. Brilliant clearance. Well, there we go. Heel game. His breaks let him down at the crucial times so far. So, can he find a big one when it counts? Matt Barcock to break off in frame number 13. His destiny is in his own hands. He's going for the cut break. Oh, was that the right time to go for a cut break? He's gone dry. Goodness me. Oh, I said that his breaker just let him down at the crucial times throughout this match in the key frames, and it comes up dry again. I guess the only thing you can say is neither set are particularly straightforward. I mean, yellows look decent, but it's very close to his work for an opener. In fact, looking at the overhead, I think there's nothing between those two balls. Much easier open on reds, but reds are made very difficult by the two that are tied up on the left hand side. I think if he could work out a plan for those two reds, he'd much prefer to go reds. The yellows are just on top of each other. It's going to be forced to go for yellows. He's looking now. I think he was just looking at the outside one of those two reds and whether he can drop it in the middle. That's a treacherous shot, hampered queuing. I think that's what he's looking at, you know. He's playing. Yeah, he's going to go reds. So he was looking at an angle on these two in the middle of the table to come off the bottom cushion with loads of left hand side and come across table into those two balls. But has he left an angle? He's a little bit close to his work as well. He's got the angle. No good. And that treacherous cutback that I talked about just a moment ago, maybe forced into playing it. I think, does he have a path through to the one to right centre? If he does, he's still got a chance. If not, he's going to have to play that horrible little cut back into the middle. It's hard to see how he develops those reds now. That's the problem. He's still got two in the middle of the table, but the black and yellow where they are, it just causes a bit of a problem because they're kind of in the way of the angles that he wants to find. To finish high on the one, yeah, that ball that his hand's closest to, the black's in the way of it. Well, does he think he can land on it? Does it go if he lands just in the right spot? Can he find the potting angle of the one on the left? Quite rightly taking a lot of time to think about this one. Really not nice. Yeah, I think he's already looked. And again, I come back to the problem is, what's his next ball? I mean, even if he can get to the one to the right hand side, to right middle, what does that afford him? What's his next positional play after that? And even if one of these two reds goes down the cushion, then how does he get on it? And he's ended up giving it the kitchen sink. Tried to find a bit of luck, and he's handed the table over to Matt. And do you know what? This could have been a lot worse for Jack, I think. I think there was a kind of wry smile on Matt's face as he came to the table. Then you can see him just cocking his head to one side as if to say, wow, you could have left this one a bit easier. But he pulled out a monster finish in the last frame. I think he's going to need one equally as big here.
Okay, matches in the 1:30 session. Listen out to your name. There are still a couple of matches going on, so there'll be a couple of tables which will have to delay the next session matches for.
It's hard to see how you even get a tactical advantage in this. I think he's just going to have to try and find something.
Michael Davies, Ben Whitmore, table 2. Table 3, Steve Dempsey, Steve Singh.
The yellows
Dempsey, Steve Singh, table 3.
just not nice.
Table 4.
In the background you can hear Andy Johnson calling players to the table for the 30th session. Don't forget that on after this game is going to be Harjeet Singh versus Gaz Hibbert, and well, that's in the middle of nowhere, and suddenly this is a bit ugly. I think you've got to say big advantage to Jack here, unless Matt can find something big. He's looking at a big shot. He's looking at playing the yellow half ball, play it off the cushion first and pot it off the back of the black. I mean, if he gets it, he gives himself a half a chance, because it kind of opens up one of the bad balls, but you kind of feel it's one of those low tariff shots, but probably forced into it. There's nowhere safe on the table, and the problem is he has to get it, because even taking the pocket here just doesn't give him any advantage. Yeah, even if he had a ball over the pocket there, it just wasn't doing anything for him, and all he's done there is create a big pocket for Jack, and you feel that this could be the end of the match and the end of the line for Matt. I'd say it's a big pocket. It's one of those, it's just far enough away that you'd have to miss it by a fair bit to make it a big pocket, but I doubt he's going to need a big pocket anyways. They're just all there, aren't they? Is that going to drop? No. Well, he would have dearly liked that to go, because I think he wants to just get this frame over and done now. Again, difficult to see how Matt gets his frame from here, especially now that red's sat over the pocket. And again, another example of missing a ball giving you a big advantage.
And just a reminder, for those that are finishing the 12 o'clock session, you can come up to the left-hand side of the top table to have your picture taken for your profile. That would be amazing, thank you. Also, for anyone in the room who needs to give us their details for Daventry, it's just an indication of what sort of room you want, single, twin, family or double, and what nights you plan to stay.
Yeah, he's got to say, you can see his body language, his hand, just sort of saying, how do I do here?
Or on their way, please give us a shout.
It's hard to see anything. He's kind of eyed this up a few times. I think he must be looking at the 3-ball plant. But they're all offset from each other. It's a horrid little shot. And the problem is the yellow that you're contacting first is going to go. Yeah, so I was going to say, I think he's just tried to get that cue ball underneath the yellow to take away Jack's first shot. I guess all he's done here really is he may have bought himself another visit to the table by covering that right hand pocket. Now he's got that red tied up to the right hand side of the black, making it very difficult for Jack to clear the table from here. Well, is he looking cushion first into the back of the yellow to push it over, play it off of one of the yellows onto the one over the pocket, and to try and do that and not pot the black. And not pot the red that's over the pocket. And the reason he's looking at playing it into the bottom cushion then off of one of those yellows is because if he tries just to find the angle of the plant, as it were, across table, then he's absolutely certain to pot the red over the pocket. Even playing it this way, I just don't see how you avoid. Oh, what a shot. Oh, what happened there? Oh, the red went in the middle. Well, how unlucky is that? I mean, I know he was trusting a little bit to luck, but what a great vision to even see the shot that he played. Goodness me. And has been a really valiant effort from Matt. But it looks like Jack... Wow. I was just about to start administering last rites, but wow. This is horrid. Does it drop? Oh, he's got a second one. Of course he has. The red went in the middle. Oh, he's causing me palpitations there. Well, indeed it is. Jack Whelan. What a great game to open up the weekend. Fantastic. Matt will be really, he can consider himself a little bit unfortunate with that red finding its way into the pocket. A really good effort to a great fight back from him, but ultimately it is Jack Whelan who goes through into the next round. Matt can take a lot of credit from that game, and I'm sure he'll look back and do exactly that. we're going to head over to the interview room. We'll have a chat with Jack and get his thoughts after that match. We'll see you there in just a couple of minutes.
So after the guys have just given the stream table a quick bit of love and attention, the next match on the stream table is Gareth Hibbert versus Harjeet Singh. Gareth Hibbert, Harjeet Singh on table number 1.
So I'm joined by Jack Whelan after that game. Jack, you kind of, I want to say you left off, you've taken off from where you left off in London, but that was a tough game.
Yeah, I practiced a lot coming into the weekend. Just didn't feel comfortable at all out there. I didn't really feel nervous. I didn't feel like, even though 6-6, I just didn't really know what was going on. It felt a bit strange, really.
Yeah. Tough opponent.
Yeah, I know Matt from when I was younger. The last time I was in this hotel was when I qualified to play World Rules England when I must have been 15.
Oh wow!
So that's I thought it was at the Imperial next door.
Okay, yeah. So you got some history here.
Yeah, well, not great, but I was a bit young then. But yeah, and he played for England then, so I knew it was a tricky opponent.
Yeah.
But I just had to play my own game, and hopefully I got through.
There was a big swing, there was a big tactical frame, I think it was frame 13, where you seemed to kind of get obsessed by trying to land on the black to play it down the rail, where maybe should have been trying to get the yellows out, do you think?
I think he had a couple of chances, but I played a good shot when he had one ball left and he was trying to get on the black. I played a good shot to put the white where I did, because I don't think he could have drawed them out and put the white off the table, which was unlucky really, but and he did well he actually potted one. He potted one out of it, but yeah, I thought I had him in a good position. I didn't think he could get out of that position. But when the rules are like that, I really don't know if I'm favourite or I wasn't favourite. I was just trying to play what I thought was the right shot in the moment, but I didn't really have a clue if I was favourite or not all the way till when the frames finished. Really.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, let's just go back to London, because it's hard not to touch on that. I mean, it's such a huge achievement. Obviously, Shane Thompson won 2 events recently in a 32-man field, but still, they're hailing that as one of the greats, and it really is. But to go through 256 players twice, you must really hold that up there in high regard.
Yeah, I'm obviously proud of myself for doing what I did, and it's a great achievement. But I think Shane's was better. Yeah. I know the standard of pool here is good, and obviously there's probably 16 or 32 good players here. Yeah. But the best players in the world are there. He did unbelievably well to win them both tournaments.
So I tried to do the maths earlier. So going from the last event, I think that's 19 games in a row you're on at the moment. So that's quite a good winning streak. Going to keep it up for the rest of the weekend?
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully, we'll see you here on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. It's my wife's birthday today, so I shot off this morning early doors. So hopefully I can win it, take a trophy back for her.
Take a nice present. Yeah. Home. Well, best of luck for the rest of the weekend, Jack. Thanks for joining us. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, thank you.
So don't forget, the action is coming thick and fast. We're back with it with Gaz Hibbert. He's going to be in action against Harjeet Singh in just a couple of minutes. Stay tuned. Cheers, mate.